in 92. UCLA controls it first.
Man-to-man defense from Oklahoma State. A lot of screening.
Edney with a whistle. Draws the foul from the Cowboys.
Great man-to-man defense by Oak State, but Edney, Jim, with dribble penetration, what we showed early on, something that he is so good at. Owens picks up the quick foul early.
Make your decision. Make your decision. No. You get your spot.
Edney's been to the foul line this year, Jim, 171 times. For a guy that has the great turnover-assist ratio, that is absolutely terrific. And, of course, a 76% shooter, so it shows how he can finish it off.
First team all Pac-10, Mr. Clutch in this year's NCAA tournament.
And coming off the disappointing loss last year, that back problem really hurt not only Edney, but UCLA's chances in last year's tournament against Tulsa.
Well, interestingly enough, in last year's tournament, both of these teams were eliminated by Tulsa. In Oklahoma City, UCLA in the first round, Tulsa defeated, and then round two, they took out Big Country and Company, the Golden Hurricane.
Pierce, a man who has been up and down, screening away, a foul call. Quick whistles in this game, Jim.
Well, that time they got Rutherford for setting a moving pick.
Again, adjustments will have to be made by coaches quickly, particularly Oak State, that does not have a very deep bench. If they get guys in serious foul trouble, it'll be a problem.
Edney in traffic. Pierce is defending O'Bannon. Tough shot. And Big Country snares it.
You see Pierce get out and running. Owens not wanting to turn this into a up-and-down game, so they pull it up to go to their half-court set.
Collins steps in. And Reeves let it slip away. Oklahoma State has not attempted a shot in its first two trips.
Jim, one of the things about teams that get to the Final Four, they are usually on great defensive runs. And we're seeing two teams playing heads-up man-to-man right now, shutting their opponent out.
Edney. Wow. Billy, that's been the common thread, though, for the four teams that made it here. Shutting down the opponent. UMass shot a season low against Oklahoma State. Scott Pierce. And the Cowboys are on the board.
Owens comes right back to Edney. Look at Edney try to follow some traffic.
Well, Pierce almost reached in and got a steal.
Owens doing a smart thing. He's trying to keep the ball away from Edney.
Going the other way. They call a charge on Bailey. He dipped the shoulder, and they whistled him for it.
Don't want to jump to the second game, Jim, but if the game is called like this, with a very fast whistle, it'll have a lot to do with the outcome. This game is very tightly officiated early on. Little switch right there. Good job by Charles O'Bannon picking up Rutherford. There's that 600 pounds inside banging each other.
And there they battle for the first time, and Zedek got him with the body.
Zedek fighting in there. We talked about it. 14 feet, 600 pounds. Why he jumped over there on the left side, I don't know, because that's something Eddie Sutton talked about. He wants him on his left shoulder all night, force him to go back, use that left hand side.
Reeves almost 70% from the line this season.
Jim, a huge game against Alabama. McDyess, who is going to be one of the premier players in the country last year, was a lot for anybody to handle. He played 40 minutes against Alabama, 40 against Wake Forest and Tim Duncan, and 40 against Canby in Massachusetts.
That's 3 straight games playing the whole way, and probably would have been the first one, but he fouled out against Drexel.
Malik Rose was much smaller and tough for him to guard.
Zedek with the hook.
And don't be surprised to see more of the hooks from Zedek. He has really developed the old style Kareem Jabbar skyhook.
Three-pointer nailed by Rutherford.
Bailey's got to get out there and respect that depth of that jump shot.
O'Bannon into Zedek. Oak State comes out of the pack, and Bailey picks up his second. This is the old-fashioned style hook shot.
Well, we talked about Oak State, Bob Curlin, George Mikan back in the 40s. Obviously, they didn't have to play in the wide lane, but that was the hook shot perfected back in the early 40s and 50s.
Owens penetrating, comes up shy. Charles O'Bannon rips it away. Here come the Bruins on the run for the first time, and Collins commits the foul with the body.
And Eddie Sutton waves to him. That's not the foul they want. Very difficult to stop Edney in the open floor area. Defensive court balance is really critical. There's Eddie Sutton.
59-year-old coach in his 5th year at his alma mater. He's taken all 5 of his clubs here at Oak State to the NCAA tournament. 4 different schools in his career to the tournament, with Creighton, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma State on the list. Edney.
So far, Edney feels that he can score against Owen. Owen is going to have to do something to slow him down. Getting too good a shot.
Edney has 5 of the Bruins' 7, and Rutherford let it go out of bounds.
Cameron Dollar on him now, looking for some defensive help. Rutherford really should have put 2 hands on that ball, Jim.
And here's Dollar in the game for Bailey, who sits with the 2.
That ought to help Oak State concentration a little bit. They turn their heads to talk. Edney fires to the open man in a hurry.
Well, that is the second on the other side for Randy Rutherford. And Keontae Roberts, 6'5" sophomore from Edmond, Oklahoma, comes in. Owens will go out. Rutherford stays on the floor with the 2.
Eddie Sutton didn't take 4 teams, 4 different schools to the NCAA tournament without knowing what he's doing. He sees right away that Edney has been the problem. So he's trying to get some defensive help on him. Owens sits.
Cameron Dollar will shoot one more, 6'1" sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia. Eddie Sutton, who played for Coach Iba, Oklahoma State, 1955 through 58.
Dollar had some nice offensive games, but his key to this lineup is defense, so you can expect him on Rutherford. But that puts a tough matchup out there now, Jim, because there is really only 1 guard in the game. It'll be interesting to see how they try to match up Edney.
Zedek being brought to the bench.
Trainer.
Cut on his knee.
Must be some blood, Billy. So they'll bring in freshman J.R. Henderson. And yeah, cut on the knee for Zedek. So that has to be immediately addressed. Henderson in. Cameron Dollar, because of a lane violation, gets a second opportunity and gets this one to go.
Allows UCLA set up a little press. 2-2-1, full court.
Keontae gets it over to Rutherford.
Nice move by Jim Herrick, realizing that the point guard out of the game for Oak State.
Roberts tipped to the backcourt by Edney, so no violation. Pierce inside the arc. Reeves tips it up and in.
You know, sometimes, Jim, even though that shot didn't go in for Pierce, he set things up. Everybody on this team will have to take some open shots.
Edney. And Roberts pulls it down. Cowboys look for the lead on this trip. Tipped out by Charles O'Bannon.
A nice little move to set some tempo of their own by Oak State. And here is the putback by Big Country.
As we reach our first timeout, Big Country ties it at 9.
Do you really think this is the right thing for us to be doing, Ivana?
What do people think?
Let them talk.
Donna.
Ivana. It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels so right.
Then it's a deal?
Yes, we eat our pizza the wrong way.
Crust first.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. With a ring of cheese baked into a totally new, thinner crust, you'll want to eat it the wrong way. Crust first.
May I have the last slice?
Actually, you're only entitled to half.
Large, just $9.99.
For your love. do anything. I would do anything for your love, for your kiss. Well, I would go anywhere. Well, I would go anywhere for your love.
Ah, yes, if cars could dream.
Is that Johnson's team behind us?
Exactly.
Are they members of Hertz #1 Club Gold?
Exactly.
Are we members of Hertz #1?
Not exactly. So thanks to her, they're going to get to the meeting on time.
And we'll be late?
So exactly what'll I tell the boss?
In rent-a-car, there's Hertz, and there's not exactly. Make sure you choose the right one. And then a dog in the cargo hold ate our presentation.
Is he buying it?
Not exactly.
Young Ernie Els is a blossoming star and the reigning U.S. Open champion. He's one of the early favorites for the Masters, a tradition unlike any other on CBS Sports. Jim Herrick, the Pac-10 Coach of the Year. He traveled from Charleston, West Virginia to Inglewood, California back in 1964. Got a job for Morningside High School there. In '64, the same year that John Wooden took UCLA to the Final Four for the first time.
Well, he actually first championship he won, '64. Jimmy got there the first time in '62. But Coach Wooden, of course, and Jim Herrick have been very close friends. I know Coach Wooden would like to be here. He's at the McDonald's All-American game this weekend.
Collins gives the Cowboys a second chance. Herrick toiled first as a head baseball coach in high school, then the JV basketball coach. There's a putback, and Oak State takes the lead behind Keontae Roberts.
Roberts coming off that bench, and look at who is guarding Edney. Roberts on Edney. Let's see if Tyus doesn't take it with a dribble.
O'Bannon on the board for the first time, and he does it with a three.
Against Connecticut, Ed was 0 for 6 from 3, so a good sign. This is going to be interesting matchup on both ends. Roberts and Edney. He's got to be careful on that dribble. Trying to help out on Big Country.
Oh, and O'Bannon knocks it right off of Pierce. They rule it the other way.
Wrong call. Wrong call. Without question, it hit Pierce's leg. Without question, it hit Pierce's leg.
Jason Scare, a 6'7" freshman from Deer Park, Texas, in for the Cowboys. Pierce.
Jim, we have some great matchups on the floor right now. Roberts and Edney, and then Henderson on Reeves. I think Reeves can score on Henderson. It's going to take some help, and they're setting him up right now.
4 on the shot clock. And he traveled with 1 second left on the shot clock.
Poor execution by Oak State. They've got to take advantage of the weight differential between Henderson and Reeves. And now UCLA has to take the advantage of the quickness between Edney and Roberts.
Henderson. Charles O'Bannon keeps it alive and 1.
A great player inside the foul line as an offensive talent. Charles O'Bannon's only 6 for 29 from 3, but you put him inside 15 feet and he can create shots. Terrific lift. A lot of moves inside. Scare, who's a good athlete himself, gets caught.
O'Bannon, who averages 13 a game, gets the three-point play. Bruins lead by 4. Andre Owens returns, the starting point guard.
Now that sets up a more traditional matchup of point guards. Roberts really did an interesting job on Edney during that time. Edney really didn't challenge him.
Reeves keeps it alive, surrounded and then stolen by Charles O.B. Edney has it stripped away by Owens. Let's get a quick report now from Michelle Tafoya. Michelle.
Well, George Zedek is still on the bench. They taped up his knee pretty well with that cut. It turns out trainer Tony Spino told me a scab came off of his knee. He's also got a pretty visible bump on his head that he was holding earlier in the game, but that doesn't seem to be bothering George. Let's send it back to you, Jim.
But, Jim, it looks like that what Jim Herrick wants to do is to match speed for speed. So far, he's gotten by with it.
Three-pointer. And Billy, you mentioned that he didn't make one against UConn, but he had one game this year where he made 7, tying Reggie Miller's school mark, so he can get it going
without
with the streaks.
That was against Cal.
And he makes the steal at the other end.
Almost backcourt, great pass.
Dollar into Edney. Oh, Final Four highlight there.
Jim, what's happening right now? We talked about which team is going to play at their pace. UCLA is forcing the break. Oak State not getting the ball to Reeves down low. Tempo getting too quick.
And Dollar almost makes the steal. Bruin basketball, they say. After a brilliant pass, look at Edney underneath.
How about the concentration? He was looked right up over the top of his head. Perfect English as he laid up that shot.
This is Oklahoma State's biggest deficit of the tournament. They had been down 8 against UMass.
And a huge nightmare for them. A 9-point lead is like a 15-point lead against a team that wants to play in the 80s.
O'Bannon. Oklahoma State has the numbers, so they'll take advantage. Rutherford on a wing.
Whoa! Tyus went for that play. I don't know why he went for that block.
We got red zone going on here, you all right?
You know that Rutherford, tremendous athlete, great leaper, terrific rebounder. I don't know why Tyus even challenged him. He took some hit on the floor here. He didn't have the angle. See, Jim, why he went up for the block, I'll never know. Not a good idea in his part. But shows a lot of guts.
Well, when Edney takes a spill like that, the first thing you worry about is how you land on your hands.
Without question.
It brings Zedek back in.
But Jim Herrick talked about taking Edney out of a ball game earlier in his career, and he said, I learned a lesson from Bobby Hurley and Mike Krzyzewski. You just let the guy in there, suck it up for a couple minutes and go. But he took a heck of a fall there, and with a 9-point lead, you can afford to sit him for a minute or two.
Toby Bailey also back in. Rutherford will shoot one more. When we met with Coach Herrick this week, that was kind of his constant theme, Billy. Lessons learned in life. And you mentioned one of them, taking Edney out. Seemed to be his battle cry, didn't it?
That's right. He said he had a good lead against Michigan. Everything was going their way. Decided to rest them and never got the momentum back in the game.
Lessons learned in life. Zedek outside. And little Owens underneath. The 5'11" junior pushes it ahead. Rutherford to Reeves. And Henderson. That'll send Reeves to the line for 2. Coming up between games, Pat, Quinn, and Coach K will hear from the winners and losers from Game 1. Pat will have a conversation with his airness. Doritos presents Inside the Game with Michael Jordan.
Young man who had a pretty good NCAA tournament as a freshman, as we're seeing some freshmen out here tonight.
Pretty good, pretty good.
What I see, though, Jim, in this game so far is that Eddie Sutton and his game plan to play half court at a time is not working. So far, his team is getting wrapped up in this quickness battle. And even though they've got to take advantage of the numbers sometimes, it does not bode well for them to get in this kind of a running game.
Henderson. Swatted away by Roberts. Robert Rutherford will pull up.
Roberts playing very well off the bench. They're really not waiting for Reeves to get position yet.
Ooh. Another dangerous pass. Tipped by the Bruins. 10 on the shot clock. Roberts driving beautifully for 2.
Terrific job off the bench by Roberts. He's doing it on both ends of the floor.
So 6 unanswered for the Cowboys.
He had an excellent game against Wake Forest. 6 out of 8, 13 points, 6 rebounds. Really key. Looking for the hook.
Going with the left one this time. Dollar saves it. Working the baseline. Wow, put it up with the left hand.
Dollar and Esney, Jim. 2 miracle layups.
Well, 22-17 UCLA, but keep in mind, Oak State got off to a slow start in all 4 games so far in the tournament. Bradley Rutherford was saying that's been really a flaw for us all season, but we're a senior team, and if we get down early, we don't fold our tent.
You don't win the Big 8 and go through the games they did in the Eastern Regional and ever fold up.
Here's traveled.
I don't know if he did, Jim. I think that it was an unusual looking play, but I don't think he ever released his pivot foot.
And we have a break here. Oak State has turned it over 8 times already.
The all-new Mazda Protege is an unusually safe car. Because on top of its dual airbags, it has a unique frame designed to help pass the impact of a head-on collision around the passenger cabin instead of through it. The all-new Mazda Protege. When it came to safety, we didn't spare a thing. Lease a well-equipped Protege DX for just $189 a month and $750 down.
9 to 5. Nobody keeps those hours anymore. Breakfast is now the most important meal of the business day. But sometimes you need more than coffee to start your day. You need an important package. Introducing UPS Early AM Delivery. Not just by 10:30, but by 8:30 a.m. guaranteed. The business day may seem endless, but at least now you know when it can begin. UPS, moving at the speed of business.
Business risk. When you're responsible for that, you need a good partner.
Travelers Insurance is ready to share the risk by managing complex insurance programs that have saved companies hundreds of millions of dollars under America's umbrella.
AT&T, this is Emily.
Emily, listen, my friend Doug told me something that shocked me. He said that he saves on calls to anybody.
That's AT&T True Savings.
Anybody?
Anybody in the U.S.
But I'm not making any circles. No circles. And I'm not ratting out my friends.
No circles. Just sign up, make $10 in calls a month, and we'll subtract 25% off your AT&T bill.
Ow!
It's true.
I want it.
AT&T True Savings. Save 25% to anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Your true voice.
This is the inspiration behind Goodyear's new 50,000-mile Wrangler AquaTread. 2 aqua channels sweep water away for outstanding wet traction. Welcome to the AquaTread family. New Wrangler AquaTread, only from Goodyear.
Do I look like someone who watches 60 Minutes? Well, I do. Why? Because if you don't have a clue, you don't have a chance. 60 Minutes. It's cool to be smart.
Well, the Cowboys have averaged only 10 turnovers a game in the tournament this year, and already with 8 in the first 9 minutes. Eddie Sutton first attended a Final Four 40 years ago. Then a student at Oklahoma State, he hitchhiked to Kansas City with some teammates and went up to the ticket window and got tickets. As his mom, Burl, looks on, got tickets for the final between Bill Russell in San Francisco and Tom Goa and LaSalle. And then hitchhiked home. That was 40 years ago.
I was laying on my couch in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, listening to that game on the radio. I'd never heard of Bill Russell. I was just coming along, and there was no way anybody could be better than Tom Gola. As we all learned, Bill Russell was part of championships for many years to come.
On the blocks, open Reeves. Got bumped a little bit, but then soft touch.
See how he turned, Jim? Zedek late getting there, but Oak State on that timeout wisely, getting the ball to their big guy.
Now Zedek wanting position, but UCLA swings it around. Edney wants to challenge Owens.
Owens wanted a turnover there. He's got to be careful.
Edney got to step on him again.
Boy, come back, stand there, right here.
Let's say Henderson came in over the back.
You
Watch the back screen here by Rutherford. Really strong. Dollar tries to do the job by holding up, but Big Country beats him to the spot and then does that customary turn inside.
By the way, that foul is the second on Henderson. So 2 on Henderson, 2 on Bailey for the Bruins. 2 for Rutherford of the Cowboys.
Reeves still getting good position inside. Triple team down on him. They are really looking to get it. The big guy really works.
Owens lost control of it in the arms of O'Bannon. 4 on 3. O'Bannon. Yes.
Brilliant play, Jim. Didn't you think he was going to pass that thing? Terrific open court movement, and that's one thing UCLA has at almost every position. They've got guys that can put the ball on the floor and take it to length. O'Bannon, one of the best, certainly one of the best forwards in the country at that.
Outside, Zedek pushes Reeves, and they say now Zedek bumped him a little too forcefully, so they'll call one on him right there. And for Zedek, that is his second.
You watch him getting behind, trying to keep Reeves out. Good strategy here. Get him out a step or two beyond where he wants to shoot. You can see O'Bannon coming down there on the double team, but the foul takes place first.
Second on Zedek, 7th on UCLA, so we're in a 1-and-1. Reeves with the 1-and-1.
Jim went to the foul line 10 times on McDyess, was 8 out of 10.
You know, after he tore down the backboard yesterday, some people asked Zedek, what did he think of Reeves doing that? He said, that is my dream to one day tear one down. Charles O'Bannon, Toby Bailey will return for UCLA.
And you can see Jim Herrick saying, hey, I'm not stopping the guy with my power. See if I can stop him with quickness. So it'll be Henderson back on him again. That'll require a lot of doubling down inside because Reeves certainly has a lot of weight and strength on him and experience. Senior against freshman.
24-21 UCLA and a turnover. Well, let's compare the two big guys with their population. 218 in Gans, 1,000,002 in Prague.
And we understand George's father's team, club team, is in the championship run.
Former national coach for Czechoslovakia. And O'Bannon with another steal. He's having a big game on the defensive end, too. Charles called for the charge.
Boy, that was a great jump stop. Pretty good acting job by Collins, but a terrific hit ahead. You can see the good jump stop. Charles probably didn't commit the contact first, but got called. And Jim Herrick didn't like it. Now we're going to take a look at the zone for the first time, Jim, by UCLA. Now, look for Randy Rutherford. They've got to be aware of him stepping out for a jumper. There he is.
Only 2 players in history have made more threes in a season than Rutherford. Reeves left open at the free throw line.
Well, you go 2-3 zone, and a postman steps up in the foul line and gets a jumper.
They've climbed back from 9 down, only 1 back now. Henderson, nice move to the hole, but couldn't finish it.
Somebody better come back to the ball. You don't want this man bringing it up. Nice play. Rutherford's open.
He'll take the 3. Reeves
got by with a push-off.
He sure did. Pushed off against Henderson, no whistle.
First time he's starting to bend over a little bit, looking for some extra air. Well, Pierce met the ball. They missed him. Screen on O'Bannon.
Back foot on the line. Another turnover. We reached the under 8-minute timeout. Bryant Reeves has 12 points. The Cowboys are only 1 down.
There's something new lurking in the night. Something wild. Something that can't be tamed. And now he wants you to come out and play. Red Wolf is here. Follow your instincts.
The
RCA Home Theater. With SRS sound, is now 50% brighter. With a sharper, clearer picture. Better picture, better sound. Better get out of the way.
Do not become a cynic. That's a sure sign of physical and spiritual atrophy. For those of you who would seek adventure, take heart. There are yet places that speak to our souls. And to the dim-eyed know-it-all, they will say this: I have a surprise for you.
Recently, an undercover reporter infiltrated this Oldsmobile store to investigate their new way of doing business. The experience truly shocked her. After a warm greeting, she was actually allowed to browse freely and ask questions for a whole hour. During this time, she was also reportedly offered a cup of coffee. The store owner could not be reached for comment. He was busy getting her a refill. More on these startling developments later. To those who think a full-bodied beer can't be real red, yet real smooth, we say, where you been living? In a cave? Red Wolf is here. Follow your instincts.
You are watching the NCAA Basketball Championship on CBS.
Oklahoma State with a strong field goal percentage to get back into this game, down 20-11 at one time. Big country, big numbers, 12-4, perfect at the line.
Jim, those two numbers that jump out there, those field goal shooting percentage, they go 58 and 47%. You know, these teams have been winning by holding opponents down under 40.
And sometimes under 30.
That's right. So obviously, the job is not getting done. And you mentioned under 30, Massachusetts against Oak State shot 28%. We're talking about a quality team, so they're not getting it done on the defensive end, either team.
O'Bannon with a hook. Reeves says no, Toby Bailey.
Yes, he really did, didn't he? He looked at him and said, freshman, get out of my way. You're in another league, and UCLA stays in that zone, matching up. They're flattening out the 2-3.
Reeves. Oh, Henderson that time stripped it away. Charles O'Bannon pull up.
That was really an outstanding play by Edney. He was looking ahead. He throws the defense. He knew all along that Charles O'Bannon was coming to his right as a trailer. So after he throws the defense, he gave it back to the trailer. Very smart.
Oh, Reeves that time. That's the second time it's happened, too. Just took his eye off on it.
He sure did. He didn't catch it first. If they're going to give Edney that jumper, he's going to take that jumper off the dribble.
That way, 31.
And they call it on Ed O'Bannon for pushing off this time. His first. By the way, earlier in the women's national semifinals, Tennessee advanced to the championship game to face the Yukon Huskies. Well, Rebecca Lobo, 27-point victory over Stanford.
Jim, it was inevitable and great for women's basketball that the two real power giants go up against each other. They played earlier this year with Connecticut winning on their home floor. This will be interesting.
1-1 for Pierce. That's the first missed free throw. The Cowboys had hit the first 8. Charles O'Bannon again.
This team really gets out in the open floor. Everybody can catch the ball. Everybody can run and finish. Very quick team on the floor now with Zidek out of there.
Well, the Cowboys had 2 trips to take the lead. Don't do it. Now UCLA opens up a 5-point lead.
See how they flattened out the zone because they know what Rutherford wants to do. They're doing a good job talking, so they're leaving shots on the perimeter out front.
Pierce.
Transfer from Illinois has got to make some of those.
Toby Bailey back from Henderson. Freshman to freshman.
Well, what did we say? What will the freshmen do? Will they be in awe of this place in the game? Obviously not. Freshman factor very positive for UCLA. See, Collins doesn't want the shot, Jim.
Reeves does. And Pierce follows. They missed 2 chippies.
And they've got the numbers going the other way.
Spin away by Edney, and behind the back that worked against Missouri. Another spin move, and he'll head to the line for a couple.
That's another foul on Owens. Here we see a great give and go by the 2 outstanding freshmen from UCLA. Give it, get it back, cut to the basket. That's as old as the peach basket. Terrific play.
Deontay Roberts returns. He's given them some effective minutes off the bench. That's the 2nd on Owens. And now the slippery Tyus Edney after some nifty ball handling.
Jim, the zone is really creating some problems for Oak State in the fact that Rutherford, who they want to get shots from the perimeter, is running baseline. UCLA has flattened out the zone, meaning they're moving it from a 2-3 with everybody concentrating on the baseline, leaving open shots on the perimeter right out front, but nobody is looking to take it. Now watch what happens when Rutherford goes to baseline. See, there's a shot for Collins, there's a shot for Owens, but there's no shot for anybody else. There it is.
Owens, three-pointer, much needed.
That's what was open. You think Edney takes Owens again, Jim? Try to pick up another foul?
Look at that. Inside, Edney spotted Charles. Put it up quickly.
What made that play was the great spacing by UCLA. Again, without Zidek in the middle, everybody can play and surround the defense.
Deontay Roberts, free throw line.
He's having an excellent game.
Ed O'Bannon. Rutherford slaps the rebound.
There's that unusual combination. Great three-point shooter and second leading rebounder from the guard position. See,
like Corey Beck of Arkansas.
Yeah, exactly. Very unusual. He can't get a shot against his zone.
Collins has to take it. 2 open. Three-pointer.
Hurt his ankle. Came down on his ankle. He's on the floor.
The other end, Charles O'Bannon lays it in. They'll have a whistle now.
Nothing they could do about it. Here he comes down. We see it so often.
Landed right on Bailey.
Yep, right on the ankle.
We've got the under 4-minute timeout. UCLA 4-point lead.
They get no kick being thrown from a plane. 1,000-foot ball doesn't thrill them at all. So tell me, why should it be true that they get a kick out of do? Do 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 do. All right, now.
Dennis, you're just a little bit too tight, man. You need to loosen up. Who, me? Be provocative. Don't be so conservative. Shake things up. Be shocking. Let your hair down.
Please, lay out the hair, okay?
Over the top, man. Be an individual.
So what do you want me to do?
Well, you can start by eating your pizza the wrong way. Crust first.
That's weird, man. That's too weird.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. With a ring of cheese baked into a totally new, thinner crust, you'll want to eat it the wrong way. Crust first.
Let's turn it around.
Well, Dave, you crazy, man. You crazy.
Large, just $9.99.
Cellular One is so remarkably clear that we're actually recording this commercial on it. Cellular One, the nation's #1 cellular service, clear across America.
Back with more about the shocking treatment people are receiving at Oldsmobile stores. After an hour of browsing, asking questions, and 2 cups of coffee, our undercover reporter prepared for the hassle of haggling. Fortunately, she moonlights as a divorce attorney. To her surprise, she didn't have to haggle. Apparently, her retailer gave her his best price up front. If her new Cutlass Supreme is any indication, she obviously thought so too. It's your money.
It's a breakthrough that brings us to a new level of performance. In the rain, in the snow. It even saves gas. Michelin's new energy tires with radial XSE technology. It's science that goes beyond magic.
Angelica Houston heads an all-star cast in the motion picture event of the year. Sunday, April 30th, Buffalo Girls is coming to CBS.
Because of one man, Randy Rutherford, over in the corner, look at how the UCLA zone gets flattened out behind the foul line. That means that somebody's going to be open on the wing. Watch what happens. Owens got the shot. So even though Rutherford does not get the assist, he really ought to be credited with something. But because of his great outside shooting, UCLA had to respect it on the baseline.
And Collins on the next trip knocked down a three, but landed on the right ankle, right off the foot of Bailey. You think he'll be back, though, Billy?
I really do. Senior player, you know, you don't save anything. And the way he got up and walked off, I think he'll be back in this game.
He's with best friends with Bryant Reeves and his roommate on the road. Two seniors.
Owens has got to take up some slack here.
Wow, that was up there. Reeves brought it down a second time.
Jim, he's a very deceiving young man. With all that bulk, he has very soft hands, even in traffic. So he uses his body to ward you off, and the great hands to hang on. There's that very serious foul.
They got a hand check on the other end, which is the third on Owens. But look at
those soft hands.
In a soft touch, too.
Oh, yeah.
A dilemma on the other end, but let's look at the second try here by Reeves.
Look at the concentration, too, inside, putting that ball back up.
Well, that's the third on Owens, that hand check. 1 and 1.
I am really surprised with 2:46 to go that Eddie Sutton's leaving him in. Roberts did a pretty nice job on Edney. Edney didn't try to penetrate on him. Be a very serious foul if Owens picks up another one, and Edney's a smart enough player to challenge him. Matter of fact, John Wooden called Michael Warren the smartest player he ever had and says Edney reminds me of Michael Warren. So that's a pretty good indication that he knows how to play this game. Telegraph the pass.
Edney trying to get it ahead. Owens back. And then O'Bannon has it stripped away. Ball in a block.
Jim, Deontay Roberts has had an excellent first half. You know, he's really the key as to how Oak State's been able to stay in here.
Rutherford, who hasn't really got on track. Edney three.
Kind of off balance.
Finally pulled down by Scare.
You can see the lack of experience from Scare. He had the numbers, but I bet you he's been preached to. We don't want to be in a running game. So as a freshman, he waited on everybody. He really had the numbers.
Reeves.
Now Henderson looks over at his coach and said, you told me to turn him back to that side. He makes the shot anyway.
They figured he makes 90% of his shots turning left.
Right.
But not that time. Big Country with 16, and it's a 2-point ball game. UCLA in front.
There's Edney going to use Owens a little.
Henderson too strong, and Owens thought about it for a moment of running.
Big Country was like a policeman there. He put his hand down and said, stop. I want to rest a little bit. They'll have to give it up, though. They go to a little four corners here. A little different offensive set.
10 on the shot clock. Draws the whistle.
I'm going to tell you, the experience of Big Country, realizing Henderson can't handle him with size, taking advantage of him.
That foul on Henderson, his third, and let's get a quick report from Michelle Tafoya.
Well, guys, Terry Collins, I've been told, has a sprained ankle. The training staff wrapped him up, and as Billy mentioned, he will come back in this game, but that right ankle has been sprained. Jim?
All right, we have another player now saddled with 3 fouls. It's the freshman J.R. Henderson for UCLA. Zedek in for him now.
Jim, Owens has 3 fouls. You've got 34 seconds to go. He's matched up with Edney. You know Edney's going to have the ball. I am really surprised that Eddie Sutton has not taken him out of the game. I mean, that would be a very cheap foul to pick up, but very serious for his club.
This free throw for the tie.
And we're on the mark for a mid-70 game, so neither team has really established the tempo they want yet. A little higher score than what Oak State might want, a little lower score than UCLA.
Well, Edney really knows how to shine in these last-second situations. Remember the UConn first half coming to a close.
But again, the serious problem here for Owens is how do you stop him and not pick up another foul?
Can Edney do it again before the buzzer?
Well, he gave up his dribble.
Yep. O'Bannon from the corner. And we're going to the locker room with a tie ball game. UCLA led by 9 at one time. Cowboys fought back to within 1, and then it went back to an 8-point lead. And the Cowboys catch them at the intermission now at 37 all. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1995 NCAA Men's Basketball National Semifinal game is sponsored by Oldsmobile, the official car of the NCAA Championships, Cellular One, and by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth.
Let's face it, if you've got a family, you've definitely got passion. Well, here's a car that understands your needs. The Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. It comes with dual airbags, anti-lock brakes, a spacious interior, plus a powerful V6, 16-inch aluminum wheels, and more for around $18,000. Did I mention it has fully reclining seats? It's your money.
This is CBS.
Try to keep things clean.
Why? Because I said so.
When you fill up with Mobile Super Plus detergent gasoline,
Don't bounce
you
the
put
ball
years
off
of detergent know-how into your engine.
Just watch your windows. Keep your fingers off the glass. This thing looks worse than your room does.
So we can help you clean the inside of your engine as you drive and keep vital parts free from dirt and deposits. Of course, keeping the inside of your car clean, well, we'll have to leave that up to you. Mobile. How can we help you?
He was a giant of a man and a friend to none. When he rode into town, he blocked out the sun. Said, I'm hungry, Jack, need a change of pace. Make it big, make it good, wipe that smile off your face. Outlaw Burger. I took a quarter-pound patty, onion rings, melted cheese, big strips of bacon in that barbecue sauce, brought him to his knees. He cried, I gotta have one, Jack. I said, you better say please. Outlaw Burger.
Create a car with an interior so well thought out. It gives you the confidence to perform maneuvers like this, even while you perform maneuvers like this. The Lexus GS.
CBS Sports presents Pennzoil at the Half, sponsored by Pennzoil, an official NCAA corporate partner.
Oklahoma State trying to make UCLA sleepless in Seattle, trying to gain control of the tempo of this game and slow the Bruins down. We are knotted at 37, and we're at halftime at the men's national semifinal. 37-37 is our score. Hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien, along with Quinn Buckner and Mike Krzyzewski. Gentlemen, what do you think of the first half, Quinn?
I just thought the interior game pretty much went to Oklahoma State. They had 19 rebounds to 8, and that makes a big difference. Big country, 16 points. I think that's what makes the difference.
Coach?
I think that it's Oklahoma State's tough-mindedness comes into play because the quickness of UCLA just really knocked them back. but they held their ground.
Let's take a look at a play that you drew up from the first half here.
Well, this is a perfect example of their defense. They get something off the turnover here. Charles O'Bannon gets the ball, and they have 2 point guards in. Cameron Dollar gets the ball here. Edney's going to fill the lane. So we get the ball to Cameron Dollar. Watch Edney fill the lane. A different role for him. He maintains great focus and finishes a great play. That's part of their 16 points off of turnovers in the first half.
You know, the thing that I like about this team is their overall team speed. You use the term, it's intimidating.
Right.
They change from offense to defense as good as anybody in basketball.
It's springtime, as we all know, and that can only mean one thing at the Final Four, the Chevrolet MVPs. And yesterday, Michelle Tafoya did the honors for us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Tafoya. Today, we conclude the 1994-95 edition of the Chevrolet Scholarship Program with the presentation of the Player and Coach of the Year Awards, as selected by the CBS Sports staff. Here with me to present the awards is Jeff Hurlburt, Chevrolet's General Marketing Manager. Nice to have you back, Jeff.
Thanks, Michelle. At Chevrolet, we've always understood that the key to leadership in business or any other endeavor is a genuine commitment to giving people the support they need to succeed. And that's why the support of higher education for this country's youth has always been an important part of what we're about. Over the last 24 years, the Chevrolet Scholarship Program has contributed over $5 million to the nation's colleges and universities, helping today's most deserving students go on to excel in their chosen fields and assure America's leadership in tomorrow's global marketplace. It's in this spirit of commitment to leadership that we're pleased to make these awards.
As it is every year, this season's selection for Player of the Year was a difficult decision. We're pleased to announce this year's winner, Ed O'Bannon from UCLA. Ed, a first-team AP All-American, helped lead the Bruins to the Pac-10 title and the #1 ranking in the country. There's perhaps no finer athlete on the court and person off the court than this co-Pac-10 Player of the Year.
Congratulations, Ed. It's my pleasure to present you with this trophy as the Chevrolet Player of the Year.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank Chevrolet and CBS Sports for this fine award. To be in the same company with the players across the nation who are considered for this award is an honor in itself. I want to share this award with my teammates, especially my brother Charles, my fellow senior teammates Tyus Edney and George Zedek. Without the direction and guidance from Coach Jim Herrick and his staff, none of this would have been possible. This is a very special moment for my family, my mom, my dad, my girlfriend Rosa, and our son Aaron. Speaking as a college student, I'd like to thank Chevrolet for donating thousands of dollars each year to the universities across the nation. The students who annually benefit from these donations are the real winners.
And now the Coach of the Year presentation. This season's winner is Gene Cady from Purdue University. Purdue won its second straight Big Ten crown despite being picked as a middle-of-the-pack team. But perhaps more impressive than the wins on the court is the standard of excellence that Coach Cady sets off the court, as 90% of Coach Cady's players graduate from Purdue University.
Congratulations, Coach Cady. It's my pleasure to present you with this trophy as the Chevrolet Coach of the Year and a $2,500 general scholarship check to Purdue University.
Thank you, Jeff. I also want to thank Chevrolet and CBS because this makes it doubly important to me to get this, because in 1984 I won this award with Michael Jordan, and everyone knows how he turned out, so hopefully I can keep up our prestigious situation. When you get an award like this, it's very important for people to know that your wife is very big in this. Pat was very instrumental in my success always, and our players naturally exemplified the word teamwork, I thought, this year, so I was very proud of them, and my staff did a super job preparing the team for each game.
Once again, let me add my congratulations to both Coach Gene Cady and Ed O'Bannon. And thanks again to Chevrolet for its continued support of collegiate athletics and education through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program.
All right, Michelle, thank you for that. A couple of baseball notes here, some breaking stories. A couple of games in tomorrow's openers have been postponed. The New York Mets and the Florida Marlins at Joe Robbie Stadium. That has been postponed. And also Pittsburgh-Montreal. That game postponed. George Steinbrenner happens to be in the house, and he's now with Michelle Tafoya. Michelle?
Thank you, Pat. I am standing with George Steinbrenner, and can you give us an update on these postponed games?
Well, I think they're postponed. I think we'll meet in Chicago tomorrow afternoon. I'm just one owner, but my guess is that we are not going to lock out. That's what I would say. From one man's standpoint, I think the players will come back next week, maybe a 21-day period.
and then we'll open the season with the regular players and hopefully get this mess negotiated for the public. Get it over with.
When you say we'll meet tomorrow, will it be the owners only, or will you be meeting with players at some point?
No, it'll be the owners tomorrow, I believe, in Chicago.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Sure.
I hate to ruin people's moods and attitudes here as reality creeps into the Final Four, but we got a great second half and another game for you. So coming up, Jim and Billy. But first, thanks for watching Pennzoil at the Half. We'll see you back here in between games. Enjoy the second half, everybody.
Pennzoil at the Half was sponsored by Pennzoil, an official NCAA corporate partner.
Before he was Vice President of the United States, he revolutionized farming. Through genetics, his company developed a breakthrough with hybrid corn seed, and yield has been rising ever since. Today, Pioneer Hybrid is the world leader, and its seeds are growing food where food has never been grown. Where do you find companies sowing the seeds of growth for generations to come? Actually, there's a list of them printed every day. NASDAQ, the stock market for the next 100 years.
The all-new Mazda Protege has a remarkably big interior. After all, it's bigger inside than a Honda Civic, bigger than a Nissan Altima, even bigger than a 5 Series BMW. In fact, the only thing that's small about the Protege is its introductory lease price. The all-new Mazda Protege. Lease a well-equipped Protege DX for just $189 a month and $750 down.
The game of basketball requires hard work. But you need to work even harder to succeed in life. Life is no game. Make smart decisions. Don't use drugs.
If you or someone you know needs help or information concerning drug abuse, call this toll-free number, 1-800-662-HELP. This message provided by the NCAA.
Be there again and again. Relive this year's tournament action with the official 1995 NCAA Championship video by calling 1-800-747-7999. It's all here. From the excitement of the opening rounds
To take the shot, BC is the winner.
to the drama of the Final Four.
The Hawks have won the national championship.
Order the official 1995 NCAA Championship video by calling 1-800-747-7999.
The men's college basketball champion will soon be crowned in the Kingdome. But if you couldn't make it to Seattle this year, you can still receive a copy of the official souvenir program. Send a check or money order for $11 to 1995 NCAA Final Four program. P.O. Box 99128, Louisville, Kentucky 40269. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. This message provided by the NCAA.
There's only one late-night leader, because there's only one Dave.
Howdy!
The Late Show with David Letterman.
Mine is a Dave household.
The one to watch.
Halftime at the Kingdome with the score, Oklahoma State 37, UCLA 37. And we'll return to Seattle after this message and a word from your local station.
You got the winning color.
My car is the second biggest investment I have. You know, I don't want to ruin it. I myself and my family trust Pennzoil enough to use it. I believe in it. They believe in it. And it hasn't let me down.
Now with the revolutionary Pennstar molecule, Pennzoil clings to moving parts. Works like liquid ball bearings.
You know, I don't worry about my vehicle. I don't worry about getting up. Is it going to run? Is it going to break down on me? It's not going to.
Pennzoil, proud official NCAA corporate partner.
Yes!
Dan's found the girl of his dreams.
This could be the one.
Yeah, what's her name?
Jane.
Jane what?
Jane.
She could be the one, okay.
The George Wood Show, Wednesday.
This is CBS.
You probably know this about Chrysler Cirrus. What you may not know is Chrysler Cirrus is roomier than all three. Chrysler Cirrus has remote keyless entry, V6, anti-lock brakes, standard. Here's a great Southern California lease, just $239 a month. Hurry, this lease ends soon. Test drive Chrysler Cirrus. San Diego County Chrysler Plymouth. It's the way we get around.
The new Rock Mix 1037 is San Diego's better rock mix. We play a ton of rock,
Great rock songs by great artists, all without a lot of talk. And no hard rock, no extinct rock, no dorky DJs. We're rockin' San Diego with artists like Don Henley, the Doobie Brothers, David Bowie, Eric Clapton, Journey, The Police, Steve Winwood. The new Rock Mix 1037, rockin' San Diego. Give it a listen.
In the automotive world, if you don't change, you get crushed. Lexus, however, in our continuing pursuit of perfection, has made hundreds of changes to the LS400, resulting in a faster, more luxurious, roomier, and more maneuverable car than ever before. So drive an LS, unless, of course, you prefer to drive the competition. See the LS at your San Diego County Lexus dealer. Everything's changed but the price.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1995 NCAA Men's Basketball National Semifinal game is sponsored by the new Monte Carlo, a driver's car built around your needs. Bud Light, for great taste, make it a Bud Light. And by Pizza Hut, makers of the new stuffed crust pizza.
All right, just minutes away from the second half. We've watched Reeves score 2 of his 18. And that's part of the story here at the intermission. And Billy, what to look for here in the second half?
Well, Jim, the first thing you got to think about is that this game has not yet established tempo. When you look at the score, here are a couple of things we talked about at the top of the show. Reeves certainly getting advantage in the paint. He's been outstanding. 18 points, 6 rebounds. Zedek does not have a rebound yet in this game. Big advantage, Oak State. Now, the lethal weapon has not scored yet. But as I pointed out on one of those replays, Rutherford at 1 for 3 from three-point range is spreading out the zone. Tortoise in the hair, this is really a key. Neither team yet to establish their pattern of game. We've got a game on mark for about a 75-point total, and therefore I would say it's right in the middle. Freshmen have not yet been a factor, but they haven't been a negative either.
Bailey has 2 fouls. Henderson with 3 at halftime. And how about positioning against Reeves?
Well, we talked about being on the left shoulder. Zedek, who's a GTE All-American with a 7.8 average, has got to remember the difference between right and left.
So Zedek without a rebound in the first half. Charles O'Bannon leads the Bruins with 11 points. The O'Bannons shooting-wise, as they've combined for 19 points at halftime.
Charles 5 for 6 from the floor, has been outstanding inside 15 feet. Brother Ed hit a couple on the perimeter.
One thing, Oklahoma State was forced into 14 first-half turnovers.
They had 10 really early, Jim. They really settled down the last 10 minutes of the half.
They jammed Big Country that time.
Got out of the zone. They're back to the man-to-man.
Owens, who hit his last 3, not this time. Ed O'Bannon, strong hands, pulls it down.
Good two-handed rebound. I said Collins would be back in there, Jim. Good strip. A great track star in high school. Good to see him back out there.
State hurdling champion in Illinois. Collins.
There's that quickness.
Yep, off that tender ankle. He still buries a 3.
He's running well on it, though, Jim.
And that's the Cowboys' first lead since 11-9.
Now, one of the things that's interesting that UCLA will have to face now, this is going to have to be a grind-them-out game.
Pierce
got caught. It looks like a grind-them-out type game. You know, not one of those that you can blow away. But one of the things that's interesting, we're still playing that mind game. They do have that ability to make those 10-0 runs. You know, 12-2 type runs. So Oak State, with their great ability to spread things out, get back on defense, has to be very careful in that regard.
O'Bannon takes off. That is called that time on Pierce again, his second. And we can see now the brackets with Carolina and Arkansas. Game 2 between a pair of 2 seeds.
ACC, SEC last week. Carolina had an opportunity to play against Kentucky, who's had, I think, some of the great games played this year have been those Kentucky-Arkansas games, Jim. Great teams battling each other right down to the wire. Last-second shots. So 2 outstanding leads, probably the 2 best leagues in the country this year, sending premier teams against each other. Oh, in the lane, and they lose it.
Yep, Zedek in the lane.
Now he doesn't have a rebound, and he's taken away a foul shot. You can see him he gets leaning, and he can't pull himself back.
Owens operating with the 3 fouls.
Roberts, who had the outstanding first half. 3 for 3.
Fade away, Big Country. Roberts, no whistle over the back. It was clean.
Double down by Edney. They are not doubling down with Rutherford's man, though.
Zedek called for that one. That's his 3rd.
Jim, what Oak State could do is they're doubling Edney down off of Owens to help out. You can see him right there, which means that Bailey stays on Rutherford. What should happen is Edney's man should go screen Bailey, and then Rutherford be open for a jump shot. Give Rutherford credit for being very patient in this game, however. He's not looking to take any bad shots. Probably why he hits such a good percentage. There's the step out.
Shot clock at 3. Wild will put up. No whistle. Bruins on break. Bailey will pull up. Now he'll take it in. Ed +1.
One of the things that makes UCLA so dangerous is the ability to catch the ball in traffic. Charles O'Bannon, Ed O'Bannon, Bailey, Henderson. This is a tough pass and only works because you have guys that can make catches in traffic. Look at the concentration by Ed O'Bannon.
Three-point play ties it. 40. Sub back in. Pierce, who was whistled for a couple of quick fouls at the start of this half, gets back into the game for Collins. UCLA now will pick up full court pressure.
Haven't been able to do that much. If you don't get to that foul line, Jim, and make them, you can't get the best opportunity to put your press on. 2-2-1. Edney shading over there on Rutherford. Boy, Reeves really making Zedek work down inside. He is a load.
Rutherford, the man from Broken Bow, Oklahoma, another small town.
He's got a smaller man on him now. They're wanting to throw the lob to him.
Got to beat the shot clock. Rutherford, short that time. Slap it back out, and they say last touch by Oklahoma State.
Rutherford is really not a guy, Jim, despite his quickness, that can get the shot off the dribble. He requires the screen, and so far today, he hasn't been able to get it.
He's a man who lit up Kansas for 45 in one game. Eddie Sutton called it the best performance by any guard he ever coached in one game.
And that
has had some good ones.
That is the game where Big Country did not score.
Oh, O'Bannon.
I didn't know how he'd get that one off. Came all the way under the backboard.
UCLA regains the lead 42-40.
There's the screens.
Had the shot, steps in instead. Rejected by Ed.
And here they come.
Edney cross court. Charles, pull up.
This is the kind of run we talked about. So explosive.
7 unanswered for the Bruins.
Doing a good job fighting over those screens. Down to 8 seconds. Got to keep the dribble.
Rutherford will get it off in time. Reeves just in the right place, that one. Next whistle will be the under-16 TV timeout.
Back screen, and Bailey fights through it again. Boy, this kid's doing a nice job on defense.
Reeves lost control of it.
Here they come. 4 on 3.
Give it up. Zedek travel. Oh, what a collision.
The walk on Zedek, but the foul was after the violation.
Traveling and a timeout on the floor.
To perfect the all-new 1995 Monte Carlo, we spent countless hours adjusting the audio controls. You see, Monte Carlo was designed from the inside out to be your own personal space, so every interior detail had to be in harmony. Paying attention to something as small as the texture of a control is what makes Monte Carlo seem more like, say, a $40,000 car than one that costs half that much. Which also makes the new Monte Carlo a genuine Chevrolet.
Grandpa Shaq, tell us how basketball used to be.
Well, the basket wasn't always 20 feet tall.
What about 100-yard court?
Not even close.
What happened?
All sport.
All sport, unsurpassed taste, a third more carbs than Gatorade for energy. This is a body quencher.
After all sport, the game was a breeze. Until they put in the moving basket.
All sport, the game will never be the same.
Squids, we got snakes big time in Barneyland.
Harsh.
They dream green room.
And we sent shore slop.
Holmes, let's get aggro on IBM stick before we get churned. We'll bust the lip, get locked in the barrel, and we won't need a swami to keep us from going over the falls.
Are we talking triple concave?
Nectar. All the way.
Pure guava.
These lineups have been totally glassy since they chilled on the steel suits.
Dear car owners, if your car pulls, shimmies, or bounces, come to Midas, the suspension experts, for a thorough inspection and get your suspension problem fixed right the first time. That's the Midas way.
College basketball's best are rewarded. The next generation of All-Stars takes center court and world-class skiers get some air. Sunday on CBS.
And Keontae Roberts just now getting to the Oklahoma State bench, Billy.
We can see what happens to him. There's a walk on the play. One pass, maybe too many. Zedek walks. Roberts blocks the shot, comes down hard, and then Zedek comes right down on his hip. He was on the floor for quite some time and obviously being worked on by the trainer.
Cowboys only 1 out of 8 from the field in this half, and that was a 3 by Terry Collins.
Pretty soon they got to figure a way to get Randy Rutherford open.
And a turnover.
There was a case. Footwork, pretty good balance by Big Country, but the pass thrown too wide. But I really think, Jim, at this point, with Keontae Roberts, who had 6 points in the first half, Oak State has got to get some offense out of Rutherford.
Rutherford only 1 for 7 from the field in this game. Zedek.
Nice little pump fake. This is a 9-0 run.
9-0 run for UCLA.
Two-man game inside. Rutherford trying to find a way to get free.
Double up Reeves. There's a rebound for Zedek, his first. UCLA on the other end is 4 for 4 in this half.
Zedek did not have a rebound in the Missouri game, but he had 10 points in that one. We talked about runs. Eddie Sutton has to get very serious now. Down 8. Got to figure out a way to get Rutherford the ball.
And only one field goal in 6.5 minutes of the half for the Cowboys.
Bailey putting on a pretty good defensive show. He just won't accept the screen.
Right when they needed it, +1.
Jim Reeves going to the line, has not missed one there yet today. Got his name, Big Country, from Byron Houston, the all-time leading scorer and rebounder from Oak State, a man he's chasing in that regard, but there's that body power and going back to his left shoulder again.
And an exchange of words after the whistle, Zedek picks up his 4th, Billy. So trying to man up Reeves. They've got 4 on Zedek and 3 on Henderson, his backup.
Here you see him battling in the inside, 14 feet, 600 pounds. Armed combat in there. Excellent job. But when they come back with Henderson, more quickness to the floor.
But he too is in foul trouble, Billy.
Zedek's job just to keep pushing the Big Country around, make him work hard. But as we pointed out, the man played 3 straight games of 40 minutes. So he proved he can stand the test with that stamina.
And the big man's 9 for 9 at the line.
Henderson's got a shot from there.
Harry Collins pulls it down.
Nice pass by Collins, too, because he was falling out of bounds. Doesn't he have some quick hands huh?
Man, as quick as you'll ever see.
See, Rutherford can't beat a man with the dribble. That really hurts him as a scorer in a situation like this.
Collins misfiring, and Edney had position. Kind of lost control of it off the fingertips. Owens ahead.
Nice.
Rutherford pushed from behind by Charles O'Bannon.
Terrific defensive balance, though, by UCLA with their outstanding quickness. If that should have been an easy 2 on a break, they just wouldn't give it up.
Jason Scare, 6'7" freshman, back in for Collins. Charles O'Bannon's 2nd whistle. At the conclusion of every NCAA tournament game, we select the Chevrolet players of the game in conjunction with the award, $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of both schools. Rutherford just not finding it right now.
He hasn't been able to get in any rhythm. Again, credit Bailey with great defense.
Deontay Roberts with a bruised right hip, we hear. Back in there, though, for Pierce.
You know, Jim, something interesting about all 4 teams that are in the Final Four this year. All 4 lost their conference opener. What a way to start a season and yet end up in the Final Four, huh?
After Oklahoma State lost its conference opener, Eddie Sutton said at that time he really wasn't even sure if his team would make the NIT.
Amazing.
And here they are in the Final Four. 4 down to the Bruins with 12 minutes and change remaining.
The defensive consistency is there.
Rattling out. Charles O'Bannon may have gotten away with over the back. Henderson.
Nice officiating there. They let him play. No advantage game.
Cowboys with a little run of their own.
Double screen. Henderson's long arms picked that off. Had to be a bounce pass to get underneath him.
Rutherford can't ask for a better shot than that one.
And the second one would have been fine, too.
And they suffer. 3 on 3, but on a wing open.
There it is.
He needs to get one now. No, and count it.
There it is, Jimmy. Pulled up on the outside in the wing.
It wasn't clean, but it counts, and the confidence gets a boost.
That was a Sean Respert, only from the opposite side. You know how he likes to run down on the left and shoot the jumper from Michigan State. It's a smart move by Rutherford. Just staying out there.
7 unanswered now for Oklahoma State. Toby Bailey, he'll take it. Foul called on Keontae Roberts, who fouled out of the game against UMass early in the second half last week. And we've got a timeout on the floor. Cowboys have fought back from 8 down this time, and now only 1.
Announcing our new arrival, Taco Supreme flavored Doritos.
Stood there boldly, sweating in the sun. Felt like a million, felt like #1. Like a rock, I was strong as I could be. Like a rock, nothing ever got to me. Like a rock, I was something to see. Like a rock.
Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Like a rock, standing arrow straight. Like a rock, charging from the gate. Like a rock, carrying the weight. Like a rock.
The Bud Light Amateur Beach Challenge. They're lean. They're mean.
Oh, they're killing us. Yeah. How about 2 out of 3? I got it.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down,
What's wrong with her?
make it a Bud Light. She's younger than she looks.
My 15-year-old niece.
But on a night every parent fears.
Gonna have a good time, baby.
Is she in over her head? Under one roof Tuesday.
Well, some of the Tar Heels getting a glimpse of the Kingdome, including Rasheed Wallace.
That's not the song of the band that he's moving to. I think it's what's in his ears, huh?
You don't think it's One Shining Moment?
I don't think it's the UCLA fight song, no.
Oklahoma State comes back again, Billy.
Yes, they really have, Jim. I was surprised at this one. Sooner or later, they cannot, with their patient offense, afford to get behind by 8 or 9.
Bruins hit their first 5 shots of the half and now have missed their last 5.
And, you know, Edney has not tried to penetrate all the way to the basket against Owens. Owens got the 3 fouls in that first half, and he hasn't challenged him in the second.
Cameron Dollar back in for the Bruins. Ed O'Bannon, 6 on the shot clock. Edney open 3.
Chance to go ahead, Jim. Oak State, who has Oklahoma A&M, won back-to-back championships in the NCAA. First team ever to do that, playing against the club that set all kinds of records 10 and 12 years that we probably won't ever see topped again.
Winning the championship 50 years ago and 49 years back. Reed.
Oh, boy.
The ball was kind of coming loose there for a minute, and he regained control, and the Cowboys have the lead.
That's those soft hands we talked about before, rebounding that time, getting it back in that position to shoot.
9-point run by Oklahoma State. Whistle away from the ball.
Roberts on Ed O'Bannon. Here we see the pushing on the inside. Roberts going to try to prevent him from getting to the ball. Gain an advantage with a defensive hand check. Gets called.
Henderson outside.
Beautiful shot.
The freshman can score. He averages 10 a game and had his best scoring effort right here in the state of Washington. Against Washington State, he had 28.
He was 9 for 12 against Connecticut, 8 for 12 against Florida International. He's been shooting over 70% in the NCAA tournament. They go back to the 2-3 zone. Remember, we saw this the second part of the first half.
Collins has hit a couple of threes. Not this one, though. UCLA with the 1-point lead. 8.5 remaining.
Now you've got the 2-point guards in the game. Rutherford on Dollar. I think the O'Bannons have played against enough to make that pass.
Edney fouled by Big Country.
Jim, this is what I don't think Tyus has taken advantage of with Owens in that foul trouble. That's the way the first half should have ended. Put the ball on the floor, dribble. He cannot afford to reach in. You watch, Tyus goes right by Owens. I think he can beat him on the dribble. We saw that right at the start of the game. Puts all kinds of defensive pressure on Big Country inside.
Get him out, man. Get him out.
13 points for Tyus Edney. That foul on Reeves was his first, while Zedek sits with 4.
Oak State has just so many lives, Jim, giving up these leads and coming back.
Well, the Bruins are on a little 5-point run of their own. Henderson, they say, too much contact.
You know, it's kind of interesting. We have the McDonald's All-American game tomorrow. I'll mention about this young man last year at this time.
Well, he has 4 now also. We'll be right back.
At Chevrolet, we feel everyone, regardless of income, deserves a safe car. That's why we equip the all-new Lumina LS with dual airbags, anti-lock brakes, side guard door beams, child security rear door locks. Sure, anyone can build a car like this. That's easy. We build it so most people can afford it. That's genuine Chevrolet.
We made a name for ourselves by inventing a wonder drug. And now, we're improving the diagnosis and treatment of major diseases. Our energy-absorbing foams make cars safer than ever. And our crop protectants help farmers produce a more abundant food supply.
So much good we can do for each other. Oh, what a world it can be.
Bayer. In healthcare, chemicals, and imaging technologies, we cure more headaches than you think.
Looks pretty good stuff right here. This wrinkle someone's tennis life.
This is the inspiration behind Goodyear's newest AquaTread, the all-new Wrangler AquaTread for light trucks and sport utilities. 2 aqua channels sweep water away. You get the sheer rugged toughness of a Goodyear Wrangler and the outstanding wet traction of a Goodyear AquaTread. Welcome to the AquaTread family. The new 50,000-mile Wrangler AquaTread, only from Goodyear.
You are watching the NCAA Basketball Championship on CBS.
Well, there it is. The third one down. Zedek and Henderson with 4 fouls each, Billy.
Well, Jim, right now you have 8 minutes to go. The decision is to leave Henderson in the game. I would think that put Zedek back in the game, you want a better ball handler at the end and a better free throw shooter. The other thing I was mentioning about Henderson in last year's McDonald's game, he was not selected.
Should have been.
Yeah, well, he was not. He was working for McDonald's at the time. So here's a guy who was an employee. Maybe Maybe he was ineligible because he was an employee with the company.
I would think he'd make maybe not the McDonald's All-America, but the McDonald's All-Star team anyway, right?
At least in the local store club. Back to the 2-3 zone.
Bruins leading by 4, 53-49.
Not a good pass.
And stolen by Henderson. Dollar with a valiant try to save it, but out of bounds.
One of the things when you play against an Eddie Sutton club, it is so difficult to break against them because they have great floor balance defensively. And that's what happened to UCLA. They very seldom give you numbers coming down on the break. Problem here, primarily only one outside shooter. Beautiful pass.
Roberts left open in the lane.
Jim, he hadn't missed a shot yet today.
Yanti Roberts, the perfect 4 for 4. Under 7 remaining, 53-51.
Edney as a team leader trying to get everybody involved in the game, but I still think that he could put the ball on the floor and penetrate more.
He has not challenged Owens as much this half.
There he goes.
Till now. Owens reached in and popped it loose. Roberts on the floor. Roberts.
He gets the foul, pushing off on Dollar after he got it knocked away.
Billy coming up between games. Michael Jordan with Doritos inside the games. Talking about some of the classic buzzer beaters in this tournament and some of his other thoughts about playing in the Final Four.
A lot of people forget Michael Jordan's last game as an NCAA tournament player. That's his 4th going out Pierce in. Was Michael Jordan's game in 1984, that great North Carolina team upset, and that was truly an upset by Indiana. And Steve Alford, a young man who just took a job with Southwest Missouri State, going to be an outstanding coach.
1-1 here for Dollar. That Carolina team was one of the great ones never to make a Final Four.
Without question, has to be one of the low moments in Dean Smith's career. And obviously one of the high ones for Bob Knight.
1 of 2, 3-point Bruin lead, 6:30 to go.
Boy, they are really aware in this zone of where Rutherford is. How many hours they have worked in this zone, keeping an eye on him.
Well, a Rutherford 3 would tie it. Here he goes. He's been short most of the time. Last touch by UCLA.
Well, down in that deep corner, he has men coming out on that time. Henderson, 6'9", coming out. On the other side, O'Bannon. I would wonder if they could set a screen and get him something up higher where he could shoot over a smaller man. He cannot get the shot off down on the baseline.
The lane again. Collins gets the short one.
Pierce.
3 on Pierce. 1-1 at the other end. 5:53 on the clock.
Jim, one of the things a player has to do within a game, particularly a player like Rutherford, who's having a tough game, 2 for 10 so far, is understand what the defense is giving him. They are not giving him the baseline jump shot. He has to figure out how to come a little higher and get in that crease of the zone where he can get off the good shot.
Roberts with the 4 fouls, with the bruised hip, comes in for Collins.
You can see when he sits, Jim, he comes back in with a limp. He needs to get that thing moving again.
1-1. And there, the parents of Charles, Madeline, and Ed O'Bannon Sr.
Looked like Dad was giving him a little lecture on how to follow through on that shot.
And just right there with him. Ed Sr., a former wide receiver at UCLA in 1971. 56-51. Big country calling for it. Ed O'Bannon fronting.
And the zone getting much more active. Again, matched up against a 6'9" player in the deep corner.
Rutherford got it this time.
Oh, he's got some range, doesn't he? And a quick release. We saw Curtis Staples last week from Virginia with a quick release. Rutherford right there with him.
Ed says, I'll take it. And nothing but swish on that one.
Jim, couldn't we see Pierce's eyes there where he thought that O'Bannon was going to put it on the floor? He just absolutely throws him with that move.
Two-pointer gives them the 4-point lead, and Big Country says, let's take a timeout. So the Cowboys call a timeout. UCLA leads by 4.
I'm so proud of my grandson. He just did a raging 100-foot vertical.
Oh, that's nothing. My Daniel caught some wicked air.
That's bogus. My Billy ripped a whitewater freefall.
Well, my Thomas does the do.
Oh!
Nothing more intense than slamming Mountain Dew.
You must be very proud.
The forecast called for a calm, quiet meeting, but a tempest rages instead. It's often the case in today's international business climate, which is why we've prepared a place high above it all, with worldly comforts that refresh, restore, and renew. United Airlines, the calm before and after the storm. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly our friendly skies.
When I am alone in the half-light of the canyon, all existence fades to a being with my soul and memories. And the sounds of the big Blackfoot River, and the hope that a fish will rise.
From Gillette comes a uniquely different form of protection for men. Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant. Unlike a stick that can stay in your underarm hair, this is a soft gel. It goes cleanly through the hair right down to the skin surface to fight odor and wetness where it begins. And that means powerful all-day protection. The revolutionary Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant.
I'm Tom Snyder. This week on The Late Late Show, Barbara Walters, Whoopi Goldberg, Marianne Williamson, and John Bon Jovi on The Late Late Show.
Jim Nance and Billy Packer back in the Kingdome. UCLA leads by 4. Let's talk strategy here the rest of the way, Billy.
Well, Jim, I'm really amazed at the score of this game and the fact that at least at this point, UCLA on top. It has been the game of the tortoise, not the hare. UCLA doing a good job, and they are 23-0 this year when they have their opponent under 80 points at the end of the game. Right now, back, they change their defense, go back to man-to-man. Nice switch that time by Edney. Prevent Rutherford from getting the jumper.
Deontay Roberts, three-pointer. Long board to O'Bannon.
Not the shot that Ed Sutton would have wanted coming out of that timeout. He buries his head in his hands. You know that he wanted Big Country to at least touch the ball on that possession. Ed O'Bannon looking like he wants to take Pierce.
He does. Wild with that shot, though. Cowboys cutting Deontay off the glass, cuts it to 2.
Boy, he has a fine game off the bench. Came back off of what looked like a tough injury. Still making all his shots. With the exception of that long jumper, he's did everything today.
Edney's in a hole.
Been there all day.
What a floor general. 15 for Edney.
I think he's been a little bit too unselfish today.
touch by Dollar. He was trying to feed it over to Big Country.
Nice job by Zidek. That could have been his 5th.
By the way, Reeves with 5 in this half after 18 in the first half.
They haven't let him touch the ball.
3:15 on the clock. Pierce steps in behind the back. Reeves got it.
That was a beautiful play by Pierce. Didn't know he had it in him, Jim. Behind the back while he was in the air. Only way he could have gotten the ball there.
60-58 UCLA. Edney again penetrating.
He's now taking advantage of the dribble penetration. Watch Pierce here. The only way he could possibly have gotten the ball there. Nice job of concentration by Brian Reeves, and the fact that you'd think that that shot would be go up, you take your eye off it, but he stayed right with it. And then again, the soft hands and the great touch.
Pierce at the other end commits his 4th and now is taken out. So Edney at the line for UCLA. Shooting a 1-and-1. He's 5 of 7 today.
Young man, Jim, 76% free throw shooter. Just exactly what you want in a point guard because you want him on the line at the end.
Got them both. Mother Barbara. .245 remaining.
Double screen, triple screen, trying to get Rutherford open.
Rutherford, wow, what a 3.
Triple screen, Jim, to get him open on the baseline.
Look out, Billy, he's warming up now.
Very nice play set up by Eddie Sutton.
1 point Bruin advantage. No call, Edney steps in, puts the spin on it.
Jim, they cannot stop his dribble penetration. And he hasn't been selfish lately, but that's what he's got to do the rest of the way.
Timeout called again by Oklahoma State. Cowboys have 1 timeout remaining, and the Bruins lead it 64-61.
If you buy a new Cavalier today, we wouldn't be surprised if by the time it's scheduled for a tune-up, you've already got it paid off. If by the time it needs new rear shocks, you have your master's degree. If by the time it needs a transmission fluid change, your baby is in 1st grade. Or if by the time it needs a new muffler, we've elected 2 presidents. Any car can be easy to buy. The new Cavalier is easy to own. That's what makes it a genuine Chevrolet.
Gentlemen, I hear automotive opportunity somewhere.
Where?
By the time these guys notice that automobiles aren't just a necessity.
This way? Maybe.
But an opportunity.
That way? I don't know.
The best opportunity in the business will be gone.
Where? Right there.
Because ITT Automotive already supplies parts to every major car maker on the planet. For 75 years, ITT, the one to follow.
My, what big ears you have.
All the better to hear you with, my dear.
And what big eyes you have.
The better to see you with, my dear.
Real red, real smooth. Red Wolf.
My, what big teeth you have. What are they for? Oh, my.
Follow your instincts.
Real quality, real fit. No wonder guys feel comfortable with Jockey.
This week, Dave's all new with Elle Macpherson, Richard Lewis, Dolly Parton, Martin Lawrence, Duran Duran, Brian Gumbo, and Bruce Springsteen. This week.
This is called running the gauntlet. Here's Dollar. Watch the screens that happen as Rutherford will come all the way around. Big Country lays the last one on, and we've got a shot. Boom, 1 screen, 2 screens, 3 screens, jump shot, and the man is starting to get on a roll, Jim.
Eddie Sutton took Arkansas to the Final Four back in 1978. A 17-year span, not the longest in Final Four history. Ray Meyer, 36 years between Final Fours, and Lou Henson had a 19-year go between New Mexico State and 70.
And when you think of Ray Myers, you think of the fall battles against Oklahoma A&M, George, Mike, and Bob Crow, and the first time we ever had monster guys in the middle.
That shot was for the tie. Oklahoma State bench said you should have called a foul on that one.
Set play on the out of bounds. And now who's got that ball and ready for some dribble penetration? The change defensively by Eddie Sutton. Rutherford moves out on Edney. Owens on Dollar. See if Edney can beat him with the dribble. That's the read.
He gives it up to Dollar. They say before the shot, the foul goes against Owens, and that's number 4 on the point man of the Cowboys. And a 10th team foul, so they're shooting 2 rest of the way. Timeout situation. Cowboys with 1. UCLA all 3.
Dollar, a 62% free throw shooter. The heir apparent to Edney's point guard position. Jim, still time to think about getting the ball inside and not worry about the threes yet.
Sophomore knocks down 2 big ones. 66-61 UCLA.
They're in the zone, Big Country. Got to find a hole somewhere in the middle. There he is.
Intercepted by Dollar.
It was a good idea. They just couldn't execute it.
1:15 remaining.
Double team. A little double team out front, trying to keep the ball out of Edney's hands.
Whistle on Collins. UCLA a minute 2 away.
This is a good free throw shooting team, Jim. Shoots 70% on the year. Charles O'Bannon had an excellent first half. Solid game all around. 73% free throw shooter. So the odds are in UCLA's favor with this quality shooting.
Again, 2 the rest of the way. Double bonus. Bruins trying to get back to a championship game.
Well, Larry Brown got him there. 1980. A game that is now wiped off the record book. And the NCAA record book lost to Louisville.
7-point lead.
Now they got to go 3.
Collins, Country, O'Bannon. And Owens fouls out. Edney's really taken over in the end, hasn't he?
He really has, Jim. He was patient all day long. He saw early on he could beat Owens with a dribble. Owens now goes out. Young man lasted a long time with 3 fouls, playing somebody as expert a dribbler as Edney. But I think what changed this game around is when Edney became a little selfish and put the ball on the floor and did the great dribble penetration that he's so noted for. Not always bad to be a little bit confident of your ability and to take that ball inside, even if it takes maybe some of the other guys out of the offense momentarily. This young man is a great floor general.
2 shots for Edney. His father, Hank, Russell. His dad said people have underestimated Tyus because of his size, but Tyus has always been about proving people wrong. Again.
Jim, all you can do now is fire from the outside and hope something lands. Block is certainly against him.
Vidic fouled by Big Country. Billy, the Chevrolet players of the game, Bryant Reeves of Oklahoma State with 25 and 9. Charles O'Bannon for the Bruins.
Looks like Reeves is going to end his career, two-time Big 8 Player of the Year, MVP of the Eastern Regional. Set some great records. Outstanding collegiate performer that when he first arrived on the scene, Eddie Sutton thought he'd have to redshirt him. He was going to be a project. Worked his way into the starting lineup. Become one of the school's all-time best.
Roberts. Dollar to the line. A double-digit lead for the first time, but not until the final minute. UCLA heading to Monday night. The Bruins took over the lead at 50-49 with 9 minutes, 10 seconds remaining and held it the rest of the way.
Jim, it was kind of interesting. We saw UCLA take those runs of 6 to 8, 10 points, and then Oklahoma State battle back each time, and sooner or later, you figured they were not going to be able to overcome it, and that's what happened. Eddie Sutton clears the bench.
And an exit for one of the all-time players at Oklahoma State, Big Country, Bryant Reeves. He came out of Gans, Oklahoma, when no one else wanted him. And the O'Bannons can celebrate, and he ends his career in Seattle. He never even had a plane trip before the first road game for the Cowboys as a freshman.
That's right, to the NIT. It made him nervous even thinking about it. Jim, when you think back, as a sophomore, that young man led the league, the Big 8, in scoring and rebounding, and was the MVP of the league. That's the first time that anybody had done that since Wilt Chamberlain. It's kind of amazing to think. Wilt, of course, playing in 57 as a sophomore.
Then bomb over to Miles, Kevin Miles, Keontae Roberts, who had a big game. That foul called on Oma Givens.
Oma Givens, who yesterday showed that he will be a factor for UCLA, watching his athletic talents in practice, not getting the playing time this year, but you'll hear of him before he's out of there.
6'10" freshman, playing in his home state. He's from Aberdeen, Washington. One more for Roberts, 13 seconds remaining.
Well, we might see Coach Wooden after all, Jim, on Monday night, huh?
Well, I'd love to see it. He'll be at the All-America game tomorrow, McDonald's High School All-American in St. Louis. Again, between games, Pat, Quinn, and Coach K have a few comments about this game. We'll hear from the winners and losers and a conversation with Michael Jordan.
First game he played on national television was the McDonald's All-American game. Been in a few more since.
Well, tonight we'll all readjust our watches. But today in Seattle, UCLA goes back in time. They're heading to the national championship game on Monday night. Game 1, UCLA 74, Oklahoma State 61.